So what are your opinions on vaccines?
I think they're very helpful for us to, like not get sick and stuff. They also help like control the disease and from spreading and all that stuff. So I think it's a very good thing that we invented.
I'm pro-vaccination. I think vaccination is a very important part of our society. I think it's an amazing way to control potential outbreaks, and I think it's I don't know, if you have children, I think it's something that you should consider doing because they've been proven to work on many facets, many levels. As far as it being involved in society, I think I'm all for it.
I believe everyone is entitled to their own body, so they get to decide what goes in and what goes out. And, vaccinations, I think, my personal opinion is that they're good and they'll help you fight off diseases. But I mean, people get to choose if they want to get them or not.
I think vaccinations are important. People who get vaccinations therefore can't get the disease, can't spread the disease. They're good. Vaccinations are good.
I think vaccinations are an important part of our society today. Pestilence and the like has come about a lot by the creation of agriculture and being in one area. It's an important part of today's society because there's so many diseases, so many things running rampant that there's no reason we shouldn't have vaccinations, because without vaccinations we're putting ourselves and our most important, our children, our future, the future of this world, we're putting them in danger by coming up with false reasons as to why it's not an important part.
What I think of vaccines, they're a double-edged sword. Basically because when you're injected with a vaccine, you are introduced antibodies, which basically you basically get the sickness, but it helps it helps you prevent becoming sick. But it also, if the sickness evolves and changes, which means they now have to introduce a new vaccine because the old vaccine can't work anymore. And also, the molecules, or the
Active ingredient?
what is it called? The cells. The cells have keys, kind of, that go into your white blood cells. And when you get an antibody, you basically inject your white blood cells to reintroduce and recognize that sickness. But when it evolves, it basically avoids that, and that's basically what the double-edged sword is. So when there was an article that I read that basically if we were introduced with bubonic plague again, we would literally die, because the bubonic plague that we've encountered is in our system still, but it's a new version. And so what I think of vaccines, they're good, but they can also be bad on both ends.
What are your opinions on those who oppose vaccines or also choose to exempt their children from getting vaccinations?
Well, I mean, this is a free country. People have a lot of excuses because of their religion and stuff like that. But I think they can do whatever they want as long as it's only them. I feel like their children should have a right in what they're saying, or what's going on or what's happening to them. So like if they're super sick, then the children should say yes or no to the whole situation. Or, the law or something like that.
For the most part, I think they're pretty ridiculous. I think I understand kind of the nervousness that people might have. I think it's very important to question, especially things like vaccinations and our medical practices and things like that, always question. But I think that there's a lot of people that they can put in the realm of conspiracy theory, as far as autism. There's been a lot of issues about that. So I think that they often go too far as far as finding single specific cases and trying to plug it into vaccinations, and then it adds a negative aspect, and it kind of bloats these situations up to a crazy proportion. But I think that it's, to an extent, it's important, because I don't think we should just kind of take things for granted and plug it into ourselves. I think we need to understand what's there, but we also need to be honest with ourselves.
I don't really agree with it, because I think vaccinations are a good thing to have, medically, but you should have your own right to say you don't want to get that, and still be able to do the things you want to do.
Cool.
I think it's really stupid, really dumb. People who think that they don't need vaccinations or that vaccinations cause, I've heard, autism. That's wrong. So wrong on so many levels, and just not getting vaccinated is not only dangerous to your health, it's dangerous to the health of people around you.
I think the anti-vaccination movement is something that is a complete detriment to our society. Many anti-vaccinators believe about anti-vaccination due to one man's opinion of one study, and which he then falsified information on it, if I'm correct. And they have taken this, trying to muddle, first of all, they're trying to muddle the effectiveness of vaccinations by letting us have measles again, like in Disneyland. But they're also ruining the autistic movement by saying those kids are autistic for other reasons, when that has nothing to do with the fact, and it makes autism look different than what it is when they're trying to accomplish something much bigger.
Do you know about Senate Bill 227?
No.
What do you think about Senate Bill 227?
I don't know what that is.
Have you heard of Senate Bill 227?
No.
Have you heard of Senate Bill 227?
No, I haven't.
Have you heard of Senate Bill 227?
Senate Bill 227. I've heard rumors of it, but very slightly. Mostly on, websites of organizations that just talk about bills that are coming up, and I think that was one of them.
I think that's actually very helpful. A lot of these children don't really have a say on if they should be, vaccinated or not, or for a lot of things. So, this is actually a very helpful thing.
I would probably say I'm for it. I'm not. I don't know all the bells and whistles of it, but for the basic kind of concept behind it, I'm definitely for. I think that's in extremely public places, especially in lieu of some recent instances like measles outbreak and Disneyland, and I think that if we can find opportunities to sort of control these situations, it benefits us, benefits everybody. And I think I understand the issues that people have. I understand that people think that it should be my right not to put things into my body. But when what is the limit? What's the line at that point? Can you subject yourself to horrible diseases and walk around in public? And so to a small extent, that's kind of what would be happening. Yeah.
I do not agree with that, because it's, like I've said, everyone's right to decide if they want to get vaccinated or not, and that shouldn't contradict getting a good education, because that's going to cause a lot of parents to pull kids out of the school system, and then where are we going to be?
I like that, actually. If people don't want to vaccinate their kids, that's horrible on their part, but it's their own business. But if I were to have my own kids, I wouldn't want them being around other kids that weren't vaccinated. So.
I think it's a really important bill. I understand people not wanting to give their children vaccinations due to religious reasons, but they are a part of our society today, and that is something that we have as a society dictated is important, and it's something that we need. So I understand not wanting to vaccinate your children, but then you must remove yourself from the mainstream society and move into a subculture like homeschooling.
In a governmental society way, it would make sense. It would cause problems because for children, for families who do not have the ability to get vaccinations, that would cause issues. So it would drastically drop student rate in schools. So that's kind of one of the things that would happen. And also another thing is, I personally believe vaccination should be free to everyone, regardless if they have a job or not. But with this bill, it would cause a lot of issues, especially with those who want to live an organic life, to just be healthy. And if they don't want to have a vaccine, they can't have their children in public schools. So I guess it's, in a way it is a bad thing, because it does prevent a lot of people from getting an education and possibly even moving on in their life.